What stops, because one would imagine that the CS Treasury in this case, what would stop the CS looking at all of these things and assuming that they are in a position where they can guide policy or where they're in the position where they should guide policy? What stops the CS, whether you want to look at the marriage between political and policy, from saying, actually, you know what, this bill, this budget doesn't grow the economy. It is not fostering of a progressive economy. What stops the CS from saying, okay, you know what, guys, this is great, thank you for doing all this work, but let's tailor it in this direction? What would stop him or her, when that would happen, from doing something like that?
If that was to happen, if the ministers that we have are not politicians, if we had a professional learning some of these things, that would happen. However, so long as this office continue to be run by politicians, that can never happen, because every person is looking at it from a short-term perspective. That I need money now to be able to do 1, 2, 3 roads, so that I'm able to tell people that we have done 1, 2, 3. For a professional, say, we better not manage to do 1, 2, 3 in 2 years, but on the 3rd year, the economy will have grown and we'll be able to get this money, and therefore we'll be able. So without this, even as we do these structural reforms that perhaps are majorly in this finance bill, the fact that the economy is not growing, we will continue to struggle to collect this revenue. Even the 120 billion that they intend to collect through this finance bill cannot come through, because they have, of course, done computation, and they have seen if Kenya, we sells 4 million phones, and therefore we are doing the excess duty at 25%, this is the money we'll collect. That is how the 120 billion have been arrived at. But you are forgetting, for people to buy that number of phones, they must have money. So if they don't have money, that number will not be achieved, and therefore the 120 billion will not be able to achieve. So the structural reforms are good, but we must first of all look at the economy growing, especially from a micro perspective. We should really leave now the macro element, where we are seeing the economy is growing now 4.2, 4.7, pretty good, but from a micro perspective, we are struggling. And if that micro is not addressed, this revenue will not be collected. We will continue to have these numbers in papers, but we will not achieve it.
In essence, you're saying that the political balancing aspect outweighs the policy part of it, because, of course, the way Dr. said is actually now we're heading to the political season. It has more ramifications, because until recently, Kenyans never knew that there's an annual finance bill until 2024 that actually brought all those problems. In essence, you're saying the political aspect balancing outweighs the policy aspect.
And I fully agree with you. It is very difficult for especially the president to do it in their first term. It is very difficult because there's some things that you want to pass over. There's some things that you want people to see it in a certain way. But if we then move away from politics and say that let us put politics aside, let us focus on the economy growing, we will then have the right structural reforms, and we'll be able to collect these taxes. So that is what, for us, we continue to push, especially to the National Treasury, the Parliament, that we need, first of all, to focus on the economy. If we focus on the economy, even these taxes will be collected with a lot of ease. Because so long as the company have grown, they will employ more people. Right. And therefore, the pay we are talking about, 35 billion, can even double. But if we continue to actually push on the small amount of money that people have and they continue to pay taxes, then we'll continue to struggle in terms of collecting additional taxes.